Okay, the project I'm working on this cold January day is a second drawer for our kitchen island. Here's the existing drawer, and we didn't make our own cabinets when we built our house 30 some years ago. We had a local cabinet shop, and we were on a pretty tight budget, so cabinet shop made us pretty basic stuff. So you can just see they used some rabbet joints and just put the plywood right on the bottom. And in fact, the glides were so bad that I ended up replacing all of those with some nicer ones. And the reason we only have one drawer is that our original plan was to have a sink in the island, and so the cabinet came with this panel to fill it. Well, we decided against the sink idea, so now we need a drawer. So house project is kind of a recreation of an 1820s house, so I've got lots of salvaged wood, and these are some boards from the interior siding of the half-story upstairs. So it's just thin tongue and groove poplar, and outside in the outdoor workshop, or the pole barn workshop, I used my machines pretty much to mill this, and I even cut the grooves just using a couple of passes on the table saw rather than a plow plane, just because I was set up, and I'm not opposed to using power tools when it makes sense. So I'm going to use a full dovetail construction, four-sided box, and then just attach this panel to the front. I didn't really want to remill this and then try and put blind dovetails on this style front where it overlaps the frame face. So I learned about dovetailing when I went to the Woodwright School, Pittsboro, North Carolina, with Roy Underhill. And during a class we made these little tool chests. So all these joints are dovetail. And in fact, there's instructions, on how to do the dovetails in this book, which I'd already had a copy of and read, and I took it to the class. It was in 2016, and so it's signed by Roy. But in the class, we got these mimeograph, or these Xerox copies of, I think, really the information that Roy bases his instructions on, the complete book of woodwork joints, Charles Hayward. And so I'm in that section of just the through dovetails, and following these instructions fairly faithfully. So what I've done is I've kind of laid out some strategies for the dovetail. This I didn't want to make so many, so I've kind of backed off and made them a little stouter. A lot of times the pins are very narrow on more decorative work, but for ultimate strength you want the pins and the tails to have about the same web thickness, this area and that area. So just to fit that in. Now I'm going to have little holes from those grooves that I made on the table saw, but I think I'll just fill those, glue in little squares. It's no big deal, all this stuff will be hidden. I'm going to move the camera over a little bit. So to start with the milled stock cut to pretty close to length, they suggest shooting these edges so you have your sides and your ends exactly the same length as one another, and you've got a nice 90 degree in both directions and a smooth face. So this is just a very crude shooting board I've been using, made just a couple of pieces of plywood and a stop. I don't have a joiner's bench yet, so I'm just clamping that and kind of wedging it away from the wall here, and just using my my user plane, a Stanley number 4. You can use various planes for these, and they even make dedicated ones, but basically I don't want to make it too much shorter to showing you, but basically you can see it just slicing that, just taking a very little bit off. So now when I lay out the saw marks and that, everything will be ready to go.